But we start tonight on a high note. In less than 7 days, 1 week from today, Joe Biden will be out of the White House for good. At this time next week, Donald Trump will once again be the president of our country. Joe is leaving behind a colossal mess for President Trump. America's second largest city is in ruins, more than 40,000 acres gone, filled with homes and businesses and schools, entire communities burned to the ground. We have a death toll now, 24 and going higher. Over 12,000 structures, they have been destroyed, and the fires, they continue to burn completely out of control. Water remains scarce or completely unavailable. Finger pointing and blame are running rampant. And last week, the LA Fire Department was sent out to battle the blaze without water. Crucial fire hydrants, they were dry. A key reservoir was completely empty. Taxpayer-funded reservoirs, 5 of them that was supposed to be built. The voters approved of this in a referendum in 2014. They were never built. Nobody informed the firefighters. Pleas by the police, the fire chief, were completely ignored. Firefighters' budget was cut. Billions yet set aside for wind turbines. Over $650 million federal state dollars allocated to make the port of Los Angeles green, whatever that means. Nobody had a backup plan. You know, nobody was ready to go. Nobody had water tankers lined up to save these neighborhoods. Nobody's taking responsibility, not the president, not the governor, not the mayor, not the fire chief. Take a look.
Did the city of Los Angeles fail you and your department and our city?
It's my job to stand up as a chief and exactly say, justifiably, what the fire department needs to operate to meet the demands of the community.
Did they fail you?
That is our job. And I tell you, that's why I'm here. So let's get us what we need so our firefighters can do their jobs.
Did they fail you?
Yes.
The $17 million budget cut and the elimination of our civilian positions like our mechanics did and has and will continue to severely impact our ability to repair our apparatus. Over the last 3 years, been clear that the fire department needs help. We can no longer sustain where we are. We do not have enough firefighters. With that, I have also requested multiple budgets, interim budgets, to show how understaffed, under-resourced, and underfunded the LAFD is.
Now, as the city's fire budget was just slashed by tens of millions of dollars, the city, the state, they spent lavishly on libraries, green energy boondoggles, social justice programs, DEI initiatives. The state is a sanctuary state. LA is a sanctuary city. Untold hundreds of millions of dollars spent on illegals for their food, their housing, their health care, their education. It is the highest tax state in the entire country. They were not prepared for what was a predictable wildfire with predictable Santa Ana winds. But the California legislature, well, they did just pass a $50 million deal to Trump-proof the state of California. It's a great way to ingratiate themselves to the new president. Gavin, great move. Meanwhile, around L.A., the dry brush was not managed at all. The science of forestry, you can get a degree in it. As we pointed out, it was ignored. The fire department was short-staffed, preoccupied with equity. None of California's overpaid bureaucracy and political class, none of them did their jobs. Now, none of the city's critical fire infrastructure and emergency planning was properly tested. Now, the mayor, Karen Bass, was in Africa when the fire erupted, despite an earlier forecast of heavy winds and the risk of wildfires, and a promise she wouldn't travel as the mayor of Los Angeles. The governor indicated it was not his problem. This is local governments. They need to figure out those fire hydrant things themselves. And yet again, the Biden administration was caught totally flat-footed, completely unprepared. The people of California were failed by a Democratic mayor, a far-left bureaucracy, a governor, a Democratic legislature, a Democratic president. And by the way, guess in the end who's going to end up paying for the rebuild? You. Mark my words. And this is a Democratic president that can barely form a coherent thought, much less manage a major disaster. We saw that with Hurricane Helene. Look at the people in North Carolina. They're still struggling to this day. He didn't seem to remember that Donald Trump beat Kamala Harris in November. Take a look.
Mr. President, do you regret your decision to run for re-election? Do you think that that made it easier for your predecessor to now become your successor?
I don't think so. I think I would have beaten Trump, could have beaten Trump, and I think that Kamala could have beaten Trump, would have beaten Trump.
There's no other way to put this. Joe Biden is out of it, delusional, a cognitive mess. In fact, he just said with a straight face that illegal immigration came way down when he became president. Can't make it up. You decide.
Look, let's get something in mind about the border. When I became president, the numbers came way down, number one. Number two, we had a circumstance where I pushed very hard for a bipartisan agreement to put more people on the border, more Secret Service agents.
Okay, this is nowhere close to reality. His border bill was an amnesty bill. This is a complete, total delusion on his part. All right, take a look at the numbers. Remember that chart? You might remember that, Butler, PA. You see that massive spike, on the right side of your screen? Yeah, that would be Biden. But the delusions, they don't stop there. Today, Biden announced that America is stronger than ever and the world is a more peaceful place. Maybe nobody told him there's war in Europe and war in the Middle East. Maybe he forgot. Take a look.
Compared to 4 years ago, America is stronger. Our alliances are stronger. Our adversaries and competitors are weaker. We have not gone to war to make these things happen. During my presidency, I've increased America's power at every dimension. We've increased our diplomatic power, creating more allies than the United States has ever had in the history of our nation. Today, I can report to the American people, our adversaries are weaker than where we came into this job 4 years ago. Just consider Russia. When Putin invaded Ukraine, he thought he'd conquer Kyiv in a matter of days. But the truth is, since that war began, I'm the only one that stood in the center of Kyiv, not him.
Okay, beyond laughable, actually sad. I guess a preview of coming attractions. His, farewell address is coming this week. A third-rate terrorist organization is still holding Americans hostage if they're alive in Gaza. New wars in Europe and the Middle East, they continue to rage. And China, Iran, Russia are more hostile than they have ever been. They've been emboldened by Joe and Kamala's weakness. And just remember, according to Joe Biden, anything bad that happens around the world or here at home is not his fault. It's climate change. It's climate alarmism. That's always the culprit. Not that, it's Donald Trump. Take a look.
I know some incoming administration, some in the incoming administration, are skeptical about the need for clean energy. They don't even believe climate change is real. I think they come from a different century. They're wrong. They are dead wrong. It's the single greatest existential threat to humanity.
No, it's not. Joe Biden does not have a grasp on reality. Over the past 4 years, while Biden struggled cognitively, the media lied for him, his staff lied for him, far-left bureaucrats, elected Democrats, they have wreaked nothing but havoc on our country. They neglected the basics. They focused on woke social issues. They sacrificed your safety, your security for feelings of victimhood. They opened up our borders. They allowed in terrorists, known terrorists, murderers, rapists, criminals, cartel members, gang members. We have to find them and we have to send them home. And they turned our justice system into a politicized, weaponized arm of the Democratic Party on top of everything. And now it will be up to Donald Trump. 1 week from tonight, it begins. And his administration to fix the country, restore the American dream. It's a heavy lift. It won't be easy. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.